12:30. TR, what do you got today?
Oh, how quickly they forget.
Who's
Lord
they?
help mercy.
Who's they?
That's the media. The media and what you just said about Barry Bonds not being a Hall of Famer before the steroid era. I would have respected you more if you said Barry Bonds shouldn't have never used steroids because he was already a Hall of Famer. And if you ask baseball people, they'll tell you the same. He was on a Hall of Fame pace. Before he decided to try to compete with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, he was jealous of them getting all of the attention because of the home run race. Barry Bonds was already a Hall of Famer before he started using steroids. Do I think he'll get in? No, because he's been blackballed, just like Pete Rose. It's funny to me how everybody's reacting to Barry Bonds being a hung jury, and it's interesting to me to see how everybody will react in a couple of months when Roger goes on trial. Now, if that's an epitome of a liar, the epitome of somebody who doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame,
yes,
that's him.
Yes.
So, and I heard you correctly. You said they spent $10 million, but there's other media outlets saying they spent closer to $15 million prosecuting Barry Bonds. And we wonder why our government is broke, why the infrastructure in this country sucks. It's because we're attacking people who play sports and spending $15, $20 million to try to prove these guys guilty over something that Bud Selig and the rest of the baseball world should handle themselves. Buying steroids is illegal, but they didn't prosecute him for buying steroids. They prosecuted him for lying to the government. And if I'm correct, they're saying that the most he could get is a 15. Most of the legal experts are saying 15 to 18 months wearing an ankle bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to cost that's going to cost taxpayers more money to keep up with a multimillionaire on probation. I mean, the hypocrisy that I'm listening to on the airwaves every day, all day, turns my stomach, Matt. Why would you go after Barry Bonds and not go after Andy Pettit and A-Rod and all the rest of these guys? I don't care about them getting up there saying they're sorry, Matt.
No, but the point is this. But the point is that the federal prosecutors, whether you agree or not, believe that he was lying when asked about how, what he thought were whether or not he used steroids. And if you lie to a grand jury, just like Roger Clemens, supposedly, or we don't know at this point without a doubt, lied in front of Congress. I mean, if you perjure yourself, you're going to be prosecuted. Now, whether or not you should prosecute, that's a different issue, in itself. I'm saying at this point, they've already spent, using your numbers 15, the numbers I see 10, that's probably money they'll never get back. And to put that kind of money and that kind of time and again to Barry Bonds, I think at this point is a waste of time.
I mean, I think it's a disappointment and a waste of time. How much do you think it's going to cost them to prosecute Roger?
I can't answer that.
If they went after everybody, if they went after every one of these guys in baseball who use, which the preponderance of evidence says is over 50% of the guys that played were using pitchers and position players. So we would be at about $100 million, right? Just going after 10 of them. So why would you? What's the thing that's bothering me the most is the selective prosecution. Why not? If you're going to prosecute Barry, you got to prosecute everybody because all of them lied when they first were asked about it.
Yeah, but they didn't go. But Andy Pettit and Alex Rodriguez did not go in front of a grand jury to do this.
I mean, I understand that, but
all right. Well, I mean, there's your selection is that there are people.
Anyway.
And also, you got to realize that Barry Bonds and his close friend, the trainer, was involved in a 3-year investigation against Balco. I mean, Alex Rodriguez and Andy Pettit and anybody else wasn't directly involved in the Balco situation to the point that Barry Bonds was.
I mean, I understand that, but I still feel like it was a witch hunt for Barry Bonds because he broke the home run record. As long as Mark McGwire had the home run record, as long as it was another Great White Hope who broke the Great White Hope
I disagree.
Home run record, it was cool.
I don't think this has anything to do with the color of their skin.
I mean, I think it has everything to do with it.
It does not. Rick, Roger Clemens is going to trial. Last time I checked, Roger Clemens is white.
But I understand that, but I'm not making it about that. I'm saying,
yeah, you are. You just said it was.
Why would you prosecute just those two guys and not everybody?
Because again, none of those guys put their left hand on the Bible and the right hand up in the air and went in front of a grand jury.
They still about steroids, though, Matt. And then you just say a few minutes ago that buying steroids in and of itself is illegal.
You're talking.
So
then you're talking.
Why not prosecute all of them that they know about steroids?
Well, because
that's a felony, right?
Okay, but that isn't a new thing with colored the people with their color skin. You're talking about hundreds of athletes.
What's the majority of the players? What color are the majority of players in Major League Baseball?
White.
I rest my case. Have a good day.
Oh, come on. You know what? You know that really irritates me. I try to be fair on this program, and I love TR to death, but dang it, gang. This is about Balco and a very famous baseball player. Next month, it's going to be about Brian McNamee and a very famous baseball player. And and perhaps I'm just naive, but I'm going to fall on my sword on this one. That if Mark McGwire was involved in Balco, that they'd be attacking Mark McGwire like they went after Barry Bonds. I'm going to stay on that. And I feel pretty confident in that reflection. It's not, you know what? I have a filter on my mouth here, which is good. I just don't think they went. I think it's crazy. 713-212-5790. There were hundreds of athletes. You're right. 790. Craig downtown on 790 and 1252. Craig, what do you got today?
Good show again as usual.
Oh, baby, but here it comes. I'm ready.
No, it's no but.
My Dukes are up. Let's go.
Well, I mean, it's like, I corresponded with you on email yesterday, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate the way you handle these topics because, I'm not saying I agree with everybody's point on it. I just appreciate somebody that will take on the issues and deal with conversation pieces and not run from it. Myself, I just think it's good radio, man.
Thank you.
Commend you on that. Tyreek was doing, really have a solid call. Whichever side that you are on with his race comments, aside from that. But for the most part, the things he said in his call prior to that, I was really pleased to hear Rick. It was a good call from Rick. He made some good points there.
But let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If Mark McGwire was associated with Balco, like Barry Bonds was, and it's Greg Anderson, not Mark. I just thought off the top of my head, and associated with Greg Anderson, like Barry Bonds was, I think Rick would think that they would not have gone after him to the level that Barry Bonds. And I disagree. If Mark McGwire was associated with Balco and associated with Greg Anderson, they would have tried to throw the book at him like they did with Barry Bonds. That's my opinion.
Great, and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. See, this is the deal. They is the key word. Who is they? And when we say they, we throw that term out all the time. They say it's this, they would do that. I think that's what a separation is, and I was going to go there with you in regard to what Rick said on the race issue. Don't get upset, Matt. Don't let it upset you personally when African American folks or black folks, whatever you're comfortable with calling it, make statements in that regard, because just like most of your opinions derive from your personal experiences, that's where Rick is coming from. It's not that Rick, I know Rick personally. Rick is not a racist. But that's what Rick believes based on Rick's experiences. I know Rick's personal experiences at work, things he's had to deal with. I've had to deal with some things in radio. That some of that was part of the issue, not all, but that was definitely some part of it. So my overriding point with this is because I listen to you, as you know, and you say things sometimes that I don't agree with, but it doesn't anger me because I know what Matt probably feels that way because that's Matt's experiences. And with you, I can go there because I know you. What nickname did I give you, the judge? Because you're a fair guy.
I
mean, you're as fair as any of these guys are.
But the thing that bothers me, Craig, and this is and this is where I go with racism, stereotyping. It's a very sensitive subject. And my creed has always been there's racism in our society today. There's going to be forever, whether we like it or not. I just don't like going to the race card every single time when even as objective as I try to be. Like yesterday with Kobe Bryant, the situation, somebody calls it, it's not racism. That's not a slur because people choose it. That's ridiculous. Okay? All I'm saying, Craig, is that there is a lot of racism in this society, and to think that Barry Bonds is being chased after by U.S. attorneys because of the color of his skin and not what his actions were, I think is a very loose and inappropriate way of saying that going to the race card.
And I would agree, but I'm going to say a couple things. The race card doesn't exist to anyone but white folks, okay? That's just you guys' word that you came up with to counter when African Americans make assertions that things are race related. And you may hear black folks that picked up on that term, but that's you guys' term.
Okay, then what do you call it then?
I call it, when I think something is racism, what do you think I call it? I call it racism, bro. I don't bite my tongue for anyone. But if I come in and make a call on something racist, I'm going to give you 500,000 reasons to support my assertion if I think something is racist.
Well, I think we're splitting hairs when you say racism and race card. I think it's one and the same, don't you think? When you claim racism, you're essentially saying the race card is being played here.
Yeah, but Matt, when you apply it, when a person makes a comment and says something is racism, and then a person that is non-African American turns around and says, "Oh, you went to the race card." Now it's becoming a derogatory situation because it's like you're insulting that person. You're not taking their comment to be a legitimate comment because you don't believe it. And see, that's where. Okay,
so put it this. Let's rephrase it then. I believe there is a lot of racism in our society today, and I think it needs to be addressed when it's appropriate and when it fits.
Yeah, who decides when it's appropriate and when it fits? See, that's the issue with.
Well, but you and I are never going to agree on that. I'm telling my caller.
We might if we hear each other out, man. That's the whole point.
Okay, I'm going to say that I can give you the example of that I'm saying that Mark McGuire is. If it was Mark McGuire put into Barry Bonds' category, the treatment would have been the same. I think in that particular case, there is no racism with Barry Bonds.
And I say you're right in regard to the federal investigation, but Rick's argument has more arteries than that, if you allow me to just quickly get on my point on that, is in regard to the federal investigation, I don't believe one bit that the feds are doing this based on race. I don't believe that. I work with feds all the time. I don't believe that. But what I do believe and what I do know to be true in my dealings with the media and knowing many of them personally myself in the city is that the media is under some assumption that the average Joe fan, whether he be black, white, Hispanic, male or female, gives a flat damn about how Barry Bonds or any other athlete treats them. I would go as far to say that if you were to poll 100 people and give them 3 or 4 of their of the media's most hated athletes, and then put up 3 or 4 of our most controversial media figures, I would bet, Matt, that poll will come out pretty even in regard to who the average fan thinks the worst of. I don't think fans have any more high of opinion of media than they do some of these athletes. Now, you may disagree, and I think that's the underlying thing to where Rick is coming from. I'm hoping that's where he's coming from. I don't think he meant it in a blanket statement that he thinks every time the Fed makes an investigation of an African American, it's about race. No, but the feds are not making it a race issue. But to say that African American athletes or entertainers are treated equally when something negative happens in the media, Matt, I don't think that you would say that because I think you're a straightforward guy, and even you would have to admit that there is not an even playing ground with the way things is handled with media in regard to African American.
All I'm saying right now, Craig, and I'm going to get some other folks, that the same amount of wrath that Barry Bonds has received the last 3 years is about to be shown in Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens.
From who? From the media?
I don't care about the media. I'm talking about the general public. Let's go to a ball game and let's go ask people what they think of Roger Clemens. I'm going to tell you there's not going to be a dramatic difference in how they feel about Barry Bonds than do Roger Clemens.
But I don't think you, and no disrespect to you, brother, that's just your opinion, but you don't have any scientific facts or numbers
You're
to
right.
support that.
But you're right.
The other side of that argument is.
But who's ever gonna know that? The only way I know that is by the people that I talk to when I go to a ball game, the people that I talk on a radio show.
Right.
I don't care what the other media has to say. I mean, I have my own opinion.
Yeah,
and I'm not, and at this point, I don't. But do you honestly think that America is going to be more forgiving of Roger Clemens going through with his next trial than they were against Barry Bonds? I just disagree. Look at how much we as a collective society crushed Roger Clemens when he looked like a complete fool when he was testifying in front of the Senate subcommittee.
Yeah, but guess what, Matt? We can. I really wasn't trying to make this a Roger Clemens issue, but the thing is, I'll give you that argument. I'll give you that, but that has nothing to do with the general statement that I'm making. And you're a smart guy. You know what I'm saying. Forget about Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. Let's just speak in general. If you believe, we'll just agree to disagree. If you believe that the media, who also has a lot to do with what the general public thinks. Let's be honest about that. If you're going to sit here and tell me that you honestly believe that there's an even playing field in the way that information is given and disseminated in regards to...
Let me tell you something. If you think that Roger Clemens is going to be treated with kid gloves, I think, Craig, you're going to be mistaken.
But I keep going away from that. I said I'll give you that argument.
Okay. Well, who else? Who else? Do you think Rafael Palmeiro got treated with kid gloves? No. Do you think Sammy Sosa, if he was ever put in the situation? I mean, who else do you want me to give you examples of?
You give me all examples. You don't have to give me examples. You just have to answer a simple question, Matt. Simple question. And we can agree to disagree.
I'm going to say, and I
don't believe that there's an even playing field in regards to the way athletes are portrayed and entertainers in the media. I don't believe that, Matt, and I find it hard that you honestly believe that that's the case.
Craig, I got to end it here. I mean, we're going round and around here. We're done. I got to move on. But I'm telling you, and I can only give you the examples of what I see right in front of me. And I'm telling you that if you think that white athletes are going to get a bigger break than African American athletes, that's crazy. Do you think Jose Canseco comes from obviously Hispanic? I mean, do you think he's been treated differently the way he's been treated all these years of talking about it? I mean, give me a white athlete on trial that the general audience, whether it be media or the public or people that are following this, are saying, oh no, he couldn't have done that. No. We should believe in what he says, and we shouldn't believe what Barry Bonds says. I just don't. And if you want to talk about other people in the steroid era, I mean, Andy Pettit, is the poster child for that. But Andy Pettit basically said, "Look, I got to come clean on this. I feel bad what I did." And instead of facing the prosecution from the court of public opinion and perhaps even a legal court, I better come clean. And he did that. And I'm not going to blame him for that. I'm not going to push him. His ballot's not going to be pushed further along when it comes